No love lost, but not found. MC Dearwood. If I were given just a little, enough of the public eye, I would love to use the power I have to help the people where I come from. I know I have something inside that can make the slightest difference in someone else's life. Aunt Emily. You did, Thea. You made a difference in mine. Let us find out. Explore me with the intensity of the curiosity I have for you. My attention is captured, hooked on our attraction, so raptured in the way you're you. One day, as they say. When in doubt, breathe. I sink into sadness over my seclusion. Yet when offered a room full of people, I sit and stare, aware of every molecule of space I take up. Wandering around like a lost child, looking for someone to grab my hand, to guide me through my anxiety, with gentle patience until I uncurl and breathe. Sometimes I forget that someone can be me. February 8th. I had to film this band in concert for the label. It was fine, got some great stuff, but that feeling of being left out and unimportant came back as it usually does for these events. The main reason for bringing it up is because there was this girl, their drummer, and oh my God. I don't know what or why, but I had such a strong attraction to her. It wasn't even all about her looks, but more so her personality. Gender didn't matter because I was attracted to the bits and pieces of herself she openly shared. But after the show, I kept having such negative thoughts about how could she possibly be attracted to me. The usual self-deprecating bullshit. There was this moment when I asked to sit. She started cleaning stuff around me, eventually starting to talk and ask questions. I asked how does she like being on the road. She tells me it's easy with them, they're so funny. I reply with, you're funny too, and she did this thing where she got all shy, stuttering a bit. It was cute. I got so mad at myself for how awkward I was being, though. I keep thinking of all the ways I could have made a bigger impression. Just the chance that she could have been interested is all I wanted, since logistical-wise, it would be too complicated given where we both live. It's also stupid, especially when I know I'm not being thought of remotely in the same light. I wonder what it feels like to connect with someone without the fear of being yourself. Number 9. Why do we question our worth? Matter came together to create my existence. Is that not enough? Venus and Pisces in the 12th house. It's said that folks with Venus and Pisces crave people who love as thoroughly as they do, the embodiment of unconditional love. Growing up, I was constantly overlooked, ignored, forced to be quiet. I felt like an afterthought, hidden in the shadows even when I'm outside. People seem to look straight through me, not at me. I come off capable, so independent in my isolation that I'm easy to forget. There's this ache that goes in and out of my awareness. I want to be challenged. I want to be understood. I want to be thoroughly examined and supported. Is that not what a community is made of? Relationships filled with reciprocation. Relationships, noun. The way in which two or more people or things are connected, or the state of being connected. Reciprocation, noun. A mutual giving and receiving. That's all I'm saying. Wanting. This isn't mine to carry. Abandoned, left to wander about, aimlessly, shifting and adapting, looking for connection, always lacking connection. Alienated, involuntarily becomes voluntarily. What is this shame I carry? What would happen if I drop it? You're beautiful when you're being you. A reminder. It's just a boy. July 23rd. On to the boy I met. I met him on Hinge and we eventually went to texting. It kind of died down for a bit, but we decided to go on a date eventually. We met up at the Grey Dog, and when we got our drinks, the waiter was so cute. He was like, I think it's cute that your drinks make an Arnold Palmer. After the food, we walk and talk. There was a couple of awkward silences, but it felt normal for a first date. We have another date on Saturday at Central Park. We vibe well so far, and he hasn't been thrown off by my goofiness yet. It's so surreal that I genuinely enjoy this person and feel giddy, like what I imagine they describe experiencing romance as a teenager. I actually cried the other day because I was so happy to be at this point where my past insecurities do not affect how I respond or enjoy myself. It's like a test run for my confidence, and it's crazy how present I am in this situation. I'm enjoying myself without any expectation while simultaneously enjoying him. I'm so proud of myself for getting to this point. I never thought I'd make it, but here I am. July 31st. So we went on our second date last week. We did end up meeting at Central Park and hung out for like 4 hours. We sat on a blanket he brought for most of it. He brought champagne and clementine juice. I brought some snacks with iced tea and lemonade, trying to be cute. We moved to a bench after rats kept coming near us. He was not having it, and we ended up smoking. Then we got up to leave and walked a bit, which is when he kissed me. We kissed for a bit, bumped teeth, and laughed. Then he kissed me on the forehead, which did not make my heart flutter. Thank you very much. Lies. The next day I went to the beach with some friends and he texted me saying I was the first thing he thought of when he woke up. We talked on the phone that day, staying up until like 2 a.m. We meant to meet up on Wednesday because we're both busy this weekend, but it didn't work out, so I'm trying to do a FaceTime date with him. We've just been texting since, nothing crazy, but it's been going good. There was one fallback in terms of how I was feeling. I can feel myself putting up my guard again and nitpicking for an excuse to just not. I'm working on it, trying to take it one day at a time. I like how communicative we've been. We seem to be on the same page in terms of our attraction to each other. August 27th. Last Friday, I had sex. We had dinner in Jersey City, walking around for a bit after. We went back to his place and everything just flowed. We didn't discuss what was happening, but we didn't need to. I had a conversation with him before about my lack of experience, so there was already an understanding. It was a bit quick, but I kind of expected that. My stomach was giving me issues after only 2 drinks. I really can't be drinking. He wanted to go again, but I wasn't feeling well, and he told me to sit up. He then sat back on the headboard and positioned me between his legs, laying back on his chest. He just caresses me. I asked him if he was good, and he said he would be when I was. When we were laying at another point, I on top with my head in his neck, I said thank you, and he said it back. I didn't have a good night's sleep because of my stomach, but in the morning we went at it again, which, shockingly enough, got rid of my nausea. After was the most rewarding. Still feeling like myself while gaining the awareness that I'm capable of being physically vulnerable with someone else. On Tuesday, I sent my first sexy photo. I was extremely nervous at first, but my roommate convinced me. It ended up with him FaceTiming me while I was a bit busy. It was a little slow, awkward from me in the beginning, but then completely escalated and we got off to each other. I'm blown by how easy this is so far. I don't know if it's because my self-worth is growing or him or our chemistry, maybe all three. It's gratifying to live in this moment and be confident enough where I don't have to seek validation from him. I just take what he says and his actions for what they are. It hasn't been smooth, of course, but the times that I've lapsed, I've been able to pick myself back up. August 31st. I had a super deep conversation with him. He opened up a bit about how his parents affected him, how he is becoming more self-aware about not letting himself open up or be vulnerable in romance or with friends. In return, I shared a bit about my brother. We got philosophical on how your childhood can affect everything and anything for the rest of your life, especially if you don't acknowledge or accept it. It was a really good conversation. He was very receptive. It was comforting to be open and honest with someone I was romantically interested in for once. September 26th. I've seen him several times. I met almost everyone at his spot at this point. I really like his friends, and it's refreshing to hang out with black people after so long. I feel like I can not only be myself, but they'll get it too. As for this week, I've been struggling. I haven't been at 100% mentally, so my guard has been coming up. I'm really trying to fight it, but it's hard. We haven't really texted this week, not at all in the last 2.5 days. I haven't wanted to text because I'm not in the headspace, but what if not texting is also self-sabotaging? I don't know, but when we last hung out, I asked how he was feeling about us and he got weird. Ever since, it feels like I fucked something up. October 13th. He broke things off with me on Sunday night. He only worked at this new job for a week and said he didn't know how to manage time. I expected more, but he ended up being someone who runs when they're scared instead of talking about it like a fucking adult. Would have liked this to be a discussion, but since he didn't need my input to make a decision that affected the both of us, that tells me more than enough on how our future relationship would have been like. Thanks for the heads up. Deep breath. It's okay. I put myself out there. I had fun, and most importantly, I was myself. I refuse to let this experience close me off like I've let my childhood close me off. I have always been gifted with the ability to show and receive love. I just have to find someone who wants to show and receive love with me. Note to self. I want to manifest acceptance from myself, of myself, for myself. Number 12. Why is it so hard to treat yourself the way you want others to? Download in progress. I read something that went along the lines of, if you can understand everyone, then you know too much psychology. For the longest time, I thought I didn't know myself. What a strange mental state to be in, to second guess yourself, unsure of every step, ready to look down if someone made eye contact. I get frustrated with my mom. I know her, I understand her, I scare her. Every time I poke and prod, push the roadblocks she's built up, hastily constructed a way for her to cling to some type of redemption. A story written and directed by a system not built to support her, distorting her perception of her very own existence. It's okay until it's not okay, like Kaepernick kneeling or Elijah McClain resisting. More like it's never been okay, so it becomes okay. They demand respect that's never been given, apologies for even living, monetizing our joy since they destroyed theirs, made to believe that easygoing turn the other cheek behavior is expected and punished if you don't comply, boy. They feed off of fear like an incubus feeds off of lust. It's crazy how something can cover up the truth behind the motivations, the underbelly of a relaxed bear. A disguise under a disguise, centuries worth. Time and time again, a new synonym steps forth. One that is explained away until those explanations don't work. One that redesigns the exterior so they can sell cheap parts, no matter, adjust for inflation. I think I know too much psychology, or maybe I just understand people. I suppose that's the same thing. I'm angry a lot, pissed off at how ridiculous it is to live on this magnificent planet with others who don't agree on living here without fees. Somehow they make billions of people believe they don't matter, no, just me. I lost my train of thought, but essentially despite my anger, empathy resides in all the corners of my mind. I look at my mom who is afraid to be herself. She'll deny that, of course, say she's never been anyone else, and that's also true. But you can't be something you have no access to. I'm nearsighted, always have been, glasses since 5. I have terrible astigmatism, which is why my eyesight is awful, but one thing my eyes have always been are healthy. Sometimes I think I have another gift of sight. A thought for another day. I see my mom beyond anything she has ever thought herself capable of being. The potential sitting right there, hoping you would grasp, disappointed when you don't. I get it, I really do. It's a lot to unpack, a lot to unlearn. One thing out of many I realize is that just about everyone is terrified of themselves, afraid to look too deep, not knowing what lurks beneath. We've rolled in their seeds long enough. I want to go back to my roots and let the new yield to old. It's fall. I get wary when I realize all those people fighting the marginalized fight with themselves harder. I can't imagine being so stifled you have to second guess everything you do to make sure you check a box already marked for you. How terrible that every day the feelings never go away, no way to kick them out when you don't even know their names. So you take it out on people who check different boxes than the ones checked for them. That means they don't follow directions. If you blame them, maybe you can ignore that built-up resentment, shift it in the opposite direction of your own liberation. I love that my very existence is a protest in and of itself. I am the result of a violent history, my mixed heritage telling the story of centuries ago. I reached out, my ancestors reached back. The mountains saved them so they can save me. Here I am, fulfilling our destiny. I have to hurry up sometimes when I'm brushing my teeth and washing my face. Thoughts pop up at random. Then they start to thread. Oh, download in progress. My confidence is growing, inconspicuously yet quickly. I catch myself and notice. Is that hope? Voice recorder notes. If you can't seduce yourself. I'm writing from the perspective of someone who is single, essentially falling in love with themselves, romanticizing myself and how that benefits me and my future partner. Whoever I'm for, I'm for. I'm fucking blooming. I think that's a ticket. Have enough self-love that you're not desperate for it. You have fun in the waiting. You have fun in the, oh, who's it going to be? I want to be developed enough to give anyone I care about the version of my love that they deserve. Apparently, I'm the quality over quantity type. I don't get it either if I'm being honest. I love the misunderstood parts of myself, taking up space despite little real estate, demanding life under constant threat from a society that refuses to understand. I ain't fucking until our vibes do. I don't want to be so enamored by human beauty. I don't want to only be enamored by someone's beauty that I can't think. Excused warnings because it wasn't a pretty package. I think a lot of people are beautiful. People find the reference to personality over beauty cliche or corny, but I want to be so enamored by someone's intellect that I can't think. I want to be so enamored by someone's sense of humor laughing so hard that I can't think. I want to be so enamored by someone's thoughtfulness rendering me speechless that I can't think. I want to be so enamored by the way someone shows their love and the way they accept mine that I can't think. I want to be so enamored by how safe someone makes me feel that I allow myself to not think. To let go and know there is someone who will catch me willingly. Is it too much to want to know someone like I'm drowning? Past the physical barrier of our bodies and somewhere we discover together. Please whisper my name. No one has ever whispered my name with the intensity of a shout, a soft exclamation heard from deep within, awakening a part of me I keep hidden, secluded and deluded into thinking something is wrong with me. Who the fuck would want to fuck with me? When will my name be whispered in a moment of intimacy where I can't escape wanted affection from my own insecure bullshit overwhelmed by so many emotions? But for some reason, no, for every reason, I can't fathom being anywhere else but right here, right now, listening to you whisper my name. I like the soft pink edges on the white flowers I don't know the name of. So subtle yet so sweet. It ain't simple, but it's simple. My fear crumbles into pieces when I'm surrounded by others like me. In my isolation, despair was my friend. Hope was an acquaintance I knew of but wasn't familiar with. My thoughts spiral, derailing me, making me think I'm alone. They call us minorities to make us believe we're small, but anyone who knows me will know that my love is anything but the majority of my being. What about my light terrifies the people who believe in a heaven above our planet out of this worldly existence? Do they not see the light every time they close their eyes to pray? Feel the warmth of protection, listen to wisdom only generations could formulate? My very existence is tied to the sources from which it comes from, so what other way to live than one of authenticity, reveling in the simplicity of being free as me within community? I'm sweating. I'm standing in the dining room staring at my freshly hung paper, sweating at 11:30ish at night. In that moment, I realized I was proud. Like I'm talking pure, healthy-ass pride in what I created. Confident in what I produced, made by my hands and my mind, years of hoarding learned skills, paying attention to the world around me and the world within me. This is the result. A hidden, tucked away passion I've had to movie adventure my way into finding. You know, the ones with like 15 different terrains. I don't find it when I'm climbing a mountain or getting lost in a forest. I find it when I sit down to eat the food I've scavenged along the way. I find it when I wash myself, cleanse myself in the river nearby. I find it when I lay down next to the fire I created, safe, clean, and well-fed, excited for my body to receive a much-needed rest. I find it when I fall asleep, my subconscious coming out to play. I find it there in that safe space, tucked in between my dreams and reality. I'm reminded on why I keep going. I forget sometimes. That's what I feel when I look at the paper I created. Sometimes I can't believe I'm doing this, scared of the future, worried about so many things that could go wrong. But those moments reveal an older issue. Insecurity and doubt popping up, possibly triggered from a tough childhood, a tough lineage, a tough everything. When I dig deeper, I realize it's time to recharge, a reset to catch up with my future ambitions. I'm working with a deficit, mental illness, financial drawbacks, plus just being human. My perfectionism likes to show up often. It's gotten braver, knowing it's easier to take over when I'm vulnerable and creative. I'm realizing creativity is just vulnerability, letting go and existing. Bearing everything and not caring about people seeing because I've truly found safety in being me. It's a scary place. There are no directions to get to your destination, but it's freeing and feels like heaven. As above, so below, with love and overflow. No need to wait for death. Take a deep breath. In. Out. It feels like there truly is no limit. A myth I used to think only applied to people with more privilege. And here I am in that very moment thinking, damn, I'm endless. That feeling when your body floats and your mind sings, senses fill in, everything.